All right, well, today we're going to be taking my grandma's old daily driver, this 1984 Monte Carlo SS, on its first real road trip, kind of the maiden voyage since this thing sat for 22 years. Now, if you're not familiar with the backstory of this car, basically I bought this off my cousin. He had it for a long time. It was sitting and sitting. It was my grandmother's daily driver when I was a kid. It was the first car I ever remember really wanting and kind of daydreaming about having and building one day. I've always loved this car. I tried to buy it for years, and he finally offered to sell it to me. It was in kind of rough shape when we got it, dirty, didn't run, didn't drive. We've worked through that. We got it running, we got it driving, we got it cleaned up, but it's never really been tested. We haven't really taken it anywhere aside from around the block. And we're about to take it on a proper road trip to really one of the biggest classic car shows slash swap meets in the country. It's the Daytona Turkey Rod Runs. I go every year, and I've never really had a vehicle like this that kind of fit in perfectly to take. So I'm pretty excited to take this thing, but before we embark on our road trip, we need to go on a little drive to test it out and make sure it's still good and see what kind of problems we need to address before we go on the road trip so we can get those taken care of. Now, what better way to do that than to go visit my grandmother? I've got to bring her some Thanksgiving dinner from Raldo and Josue's house. I don't know if she's ever had a Puerto Rican Thanksgiving, but I'm excited for her to try it out. She wasn't able to make it because she wasn't feeling well, so we're going to drop her off some food. So let's see if we can get this thing fired up, backed out of the vending machine here. Throw some tools in the trunk and hit the road. All right, well, when we got it, I know we did an oil change. I don't remember topping off the coolant. Oh, no, it's still got some. Oof, that radiator is looking rough. Try to clean up the squeaky belt. This other belt is the smog pump, which we've mostly got. It's pretty much inactive on this car, so I'm going to just take the belt off. Alright, let's see how our belt squeal is now. Alright, sweet. That's one problem solved. We already checked the oil transmission fluid. I'll check it again after this drive. But I think we're ready to just give it a shot, see what happens. Like I said, the farthest I've gone is just up and down the road. So this will be a little bit further, and then if it works out, then we can go a good bit further. We just got to make sure this thing's dialed, because driving through car show traffic, stop and go traffic, sitting at stoplights, it gets busy. So if it's going to overheat at idle or something, we need to figure that out now. The seating position in this definitely feels strange. Drives good though. Definitely got to work out the high idle situation. It's idling pretty high. So that's something that we need to sort out. Now, we don't plan on keeping this drivetrain long term. This is kind of more of a short term thing for us. Oh, I didn't grab any tools. I'm gonna go back and get tools. I forgot. I was in a rush trying to get out with daylight. I'm running out of daylight here. But yeah, so my intent is to make this car something that I can drive and enjoy. Now, we're still gonna make it fast, we're still gonna make it exciting, just not a full-blown race car. This one mirror doesn't point at anything. It just kind of points at the ground, and then the rear view mirror fell off. So, kind of tricky to see out of this thing. I use my mirrors a lot, so. All right, let's re-up on our supplies, try to get out of here to my grandma's before it gets dark. We're already off to a good start. Tools, got our fire extinguisher. See, look, it's idling totally fine now. It's that Quadrajet. It's a balance, you know, because we're not going to be keeping this car the same with this drivetrain long term. So it's like, how much effort do you really want to put into this setup if we don't plan to drive like this for very long? But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. See if we can tinker with it enough to get it working right. Driving good though. The oil pressure is great. Really, it's just a matter of does it overheat or not. That's what we need to find out. Nothing will get my blood boiling faster than like being in a car that I care about, especially that's overheating in traffic. Nothing. It is like the most stressful thing ever. Everyone's going too slow. It's terrible. Yeah, no, I mean, this thing's driving nice. See how it is when we get it on the main road. Yeah, so long term, the plan is not to keep this car stock. The main reason I want to enjoy it stock is A, because of the nostalgia, the sentimental value of the car to me, but B, my very first car was an El Camino just like this. I mean, literally very, very similar, had the buckets, the center console, all that. And I never enjoyed, like, I wanted a stick shift car so bad, I ended up trading it, getting a stick shift car. So it's like, this is my opportunity to enjoy a car similar to my El Camino as it was when I didn't necessarily appreciate the coolness of it back then. Oh, that can't be right. There's no way we're at 2,500 RPM. At 50, that can't be right. Okay, so maybe that's overdrive. We're not getting converter lockup. That could be it. We need to get the converter. So we'll check that when we get to my grandma's. Definitely need converter lockup. We're at 2,500 RPM and not very fast right now. Oh, no mirrors sucks. Temp's holding steady though. I mean, if the coolant temp's accurate, it's not moving hardly. It moved a little bit and it stopped. Or maybe it didn't move at all, maybe it's not working. Could go either way.
What year is that?
1984.
That is cool.
It was my grandmother's car.
Right.
I'm actually going to visit her with Thanksgiving right now. She picked me up from kindergarten in it.
All right.
Thank you, have a nice day. All right, we have arrived. I mean, aside from the lack of overdrive, so far everything feels great. This thing drives really, really good. I don't think my grandmother's feeling well enough to come out and see the car. We're still gonna have her drive it here soon. She already saw it after I did all the sprucing up of it. I didn't plan it, you know, she just happened to be by, and I was working on fixing some stuff on her minivan, and she already checked it out. It was really cool. I did film some of it because I wanted to capture that. But anyway, we'll do that later. I'm going to go take her this food. Maybe she'll come out and check out the car, maybe not. I'm going to tinker with this overdrive real quick, too. Alright, well, we've got a coolant leak. I'm going to try... Geraldo and Josue's shop is not too far away, so I'm going to try and limp it over there. I didn't bring any water. Alright, so we got two problems. Problem number one, no converter lockup. I'm pretty sure it's going in overdrive. Problem number two, big coolant leak. I walked out, I spent some time with my grandma, that's why it's dark now. I love talking to her. One thing I will say, I've lost a lot of relatives, family members, mom, dad, a lot of family members. And one thing I've learned is, You know, sometimes your parents or grandparents will tell you these stories and kind of have a hard time listening, can't relate. Listen to their stories. They've got some good stories to tell. So anyway, I was talking to my grandma, spent some time with her, and now I came out and there was a lot of coolant on the ground. So I'm sure it'll be fine to limp it right over here to Ironhead. Plus, I mean, I'm not too worried about this engine, but I prefer not to blow it up, you know. So come on, people, come on. Go. Yeah, I had that realization, you know, after losing other grandparents and parents and all the above, and you know, there's good in every bad, and that was definitely, the switch was so dirty. That was a good thing to come of it, was learn to listen more. And my grandma's got some crazy stories. My granddad restored cars. I mean, this was her old car, you know, it's not just by happenstance, and tons of cool old stories that I probably wouldn't have listened to as intently before. So anyway, we're here. Swoop my way in here real quick. Of course, I decided to do this the day before we're leaving, or we need to go.
It's an impromptu party. I can't work in these conditions.
Hey! There's a party. Alright, so if you look, I'm gonna bring you in here real quick. We got problems. Ugh. It looks like it's definitely coming from the radiator itself. So we're gonna see if we can find a radiator before tomorrow. Yeah, I just happened to come over because I was in the area. And it's a party. Brandon's here. Haven't seen this car in a long time. Whew. Where would I be? Consult the Googles. It's gotta be somewhere close by, right? I feel like maybe it's under the driver's kick panel or something. But I mean, it should be accessible, I would think. Oh, I see it. I see it. I found it.
I Spy game.
Not used to that.
It's got them.
Okay. Oh, this is the wire, I think, for the brake switch. I don't know what gets it to lock up, but the brake thing unlocks it. So, like, when you hit the brakes, it's not like, you know, leaving the car in gear.
Are you driving that tomorrow?
What?
Are you going to drive that tomorrow?
I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh, we're talking about the turn rod runs, right?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
The plan is whatever you want it to be. There is no plan.
Is there any plan for Elliot?
For like what time?
Or is he in a
Do you
hurry,
have a
bro?
I
time
feel like he's
frame
going to want
of
to
any
try to
sort?
go early, but worst case, he can just go without us.
And we can meet him.
Meet him there.
I mean, obviously, the earlier the better. What do you see, baby?
I mean, there's 3 wires coming into the switch on the one side. Then there's 2 wires on the other side. So before I even started trying to figure out this radiator situation, I wanted to see if there was some sort of simple fix for this torque converter lockup issue. We have to get this working in order to be able to drive this thing to the turkey rod runs. We've got to go on the highway, and if you're on the highway, you're going to be cruising at some speed. So we tinkered with that a little bit, but we can't really test it out and see if our changes fixed anything until we fix the radiator. Can't really drive the car with a bad radiator. So it was time to dig into this radiator situation. We've got to take some of this stuff off, like the fan shroud, in order to get in there and get a good look at where this leak is coming from. That's what we need to figure out so that we can start trying to fix it. Oh. So where are you leaking from? Oh, right there.
I mean,
that looks pinhole repairable to me. All right, status update. We got the cowl off for the fan shroud, and you can see our leak here. Got a couple little pinholes spraying out. So we're gonna try to pinch that tube shut. This is something you can do if you have a radiator with one tube that's leaking. Basically pinch that tube shut. It should work, I think, maybe, hopefully. We will find out. Like JB weld over the pinholes
yes.
and like pinch the tube.
So it reduces the pressure.
That's honestly the last thing I thought was gonna happen.
It's always something. Drove 2,000 miles, no issues, knock on wood. Drive 2 minutes down the road.
Brakes.
Whoops.
So Josue started working on trying to pinch the tube shut. Now, I don't have a ton of faith that this is going to work because I just don't see any way it's going to seal things off completely, but it's worth a shot. I think between this and some other methods, we can hopefully get this thing sealed up enough, at least for me to drive home and replace it, maybe best case for the turkey rod runs. Now, while we were working on this, Raldo and Brandon were working on getting Raldo's car fired back up for the first time. So while they were working on that, me and Josue kept working on trying to seal this radiator. We took a run to the parts store to try to get some supplies to help our cause here, see if we can't get this thing sorted out.
All right, let me look at it for a sec. Let me go squeeze it.
Just look at it. Would you
A
just
couple
look at
more
it?
Pinches. Nothing like some outside work in the dark.
Make you feel young again, boy. All right, we're back with stop leak. I've never tried this. I've always wanted to try it. I'm not really worried about the longevity of this engine or this radiator or this cooling system. This is all getting replaced. So we might as well, this is like my one shot to try this out. We'll find out. It's liquid copper. So for whatever reason, the radiator was still pretty full. I mean, we did add some water to the coolant tank, but we didn't have enough room to put this stop leak in, and we want to make sure that we use all of it to maximize our chances of this sealing up. Now, I don't have a lot of faith in this stuff working, but I'm willing to try anything at this point. Fingers crossed, something does something.
Put the rest of your water well over here for tomorrow.
In case we got a water well to back up. Boom! Yeah, no, that thing will chop your hand off.
It'll do more than chop your hand off. All right.
Pretty dry so far. All right, we're letting it warm up. We got our stop leak repair, our water weld and stop leak, covering inside and outside. Fingers crossed. It's the old 240 boy thing. All right, we're gonna zip tie the radiator in so I can go drive it and see if it'll suck some more of this coolant in there. But we gotta zip tie the radiator, otherwise it's gonna fly backwards into the fan and destroy itself even more than it already is. Moral of the story. Windshield's so fogged up I can't see.
All right, Terry. You want a glove?
Careful. Careful. Safety first. False alarm.
Yeah, see, it's like still full. It's like not doing anything. It's still got the stop leak right there. Let me start it. It went down.
There's some water.
Yeah. Taking it.
Yep.
It said like 120 before, maybe like a little over 100.
Yeah, I mean it hasn't. It looked like it jumped a little bit, but it stopped after you guys stopped putting water in it.
Nah, it's kind of stopped the same spot.
Bye. All right, we're heading back home. We're gonna see how this repair holds. I think maybe the temp gauge is working. It's definitely lower now than it was when I turned it off. That's what we're trying to figure out. We don't know what the temp is. Which again, not that I'm trying to destroy this thing on purpose, but it's like, it's not the end of the world if it eats itself. But I prefer to at least make it to the turkey rod run. I need to get the truck sorted. The problem is the truck, the wheels are too big. It's got like 31-inch all-terrains on it. So with the drop that it has on it, they just rub the whole time. So basically, tomorrow morning, we will either fix this thing, see if it's fixed. Ooh, we are low on fuel too. Or we get some tires mounted real quick right there, tire shop, for the truck. Buy some tires, get them mounted, some 17s. I'm gonna get different wheels for it, but oh, let's see if the converter locks. I did find that blown fuse. I don't know what speed it locks at, maybe 45. Otherwise, I mean, the dang thing drives really good. All right, well, we at least made it back home. We'll stay in the shop. We got some light. We'll deal with this tomorrow. We're here. All right, well, I've been tinkering with this thing this morning, trying to see if I could get this radiator to stop leaking, but it's just not happy. We need a new radiator. I tried to get one, but I can't get one until basically late this afternoon, which kind of defeats the purpose because then we can't go to the rod runs. So that being said, we are still going to work on this thing, try to get it sorted so that my grandma can drive it before we tear it apart and start building it. That's kind of what I've been waiting on. I've just been slacking, dragging my feet. Plus, I want to enjoy it a little bit as is. So we're going to fix it still when we get back, but we got to go to the rod runs. Now, I was going to take my Turbo LS street truck here as kind of our backup plan. It's not as cool as taking the Monte Carlo, but it still fits. You know, V8, turbo, domestic, that's kind of what you expect at the turkey rod runs. However, the problem is I'm still deciding on wheels and tires for this thing, which direction we want to go. And right now, the wheels and tires we have on it are way too big. This thing, I can't get my hand in here. It's literally sitting on the fender liner. So it's undrivable. Definitely not a little mini road trip drivable. So I tried to get some tires this morning, but we can't find a matching set of the rough size that we need for this thing. So backup plan number 3. We're just going to take this. We're going to go enjoy the turkey rod runs, and then we can get this thing sorted out. We really need to fix that converter lockup. Even if we could get a radiator, we can't drive it all the way there with no converter lockup, and we'll have to go really slow. So I'm going to clear this thing out. It's still got all the stuff in it from Drift Week, and then we'll get ready to hit the road. My buddy Elliot should be here soon. He lives up in Georgia now, but he's in town visiting family, so we all kind of planned to go as a little reunion hangout. Our buddy Nate from back in the day is coming too, so it should be a good time. I don't want to miss it. F80 will do. All right, Elliot's here.
Hello.
He's got his Rat Rod E21, or is that wrong? 24?
Yeah, E21.
E21, I got it right.
Yeah.
This thing's so cool. I do love anything Rat Rod. Did you put this on there? Did you do this, or was this there?
No, previous owner did. He was like redoing his back deck at his house, and took the old wood and just stuck it on top.
I love it. Oh, that's comfy.
That's a baseball bat wrap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it at Walmart.
Damn. Oh, the radio position's weird.
That's the factory position.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Old cars are so cool. They have so much more character.
You see this right here? The little squiggly line?
Uh-huh.
Or like these right here? Those are from snails.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like eating up the mold?
Yeah, at night there's snails and they eat the mold off.
That's so crazy.
Creates those little patterns. I love it.
So after a little reunion at my house and showing Elliot the shop and some of my projects that he's never actually seen in person, we met up with Brandon and Raldo and Josue, and we all hit the road and started making our way to the turkey rod runs. It's so cool to hang out with these guys again, all as a group, and mob our way to this epic car show swap meet deal together. So if you're unfamiliar with what the turkey rod runs are, it is a giant classic car show at the Daytona Speedway. So there's cars for sale, there's cars for show, there's swap meet parts, and then afterwards there's meets and burnouts and a little bit of everything for everybody. It is a great time. I love going. It's not too far from us, and there's just a lot of cool stuff to see. Hey! Small car, massive car. I'm just saying, you know, 15 grand, we got a cruiser around mobile.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to look at that. It's a Mad Max. This is basically exactly what mine. It looks like I think I have this same accessory drive and everything. It's probably a little different. It's a LSA drive. Very well done. Oh, they've got hydro boosts. Interesting. Was it just like a sheet metal plenum? Yeah. It's got an all-tech dash and a carbon net. This is kind of wild. It's literally identical. Same interior and everything. Look at that. I mean, it's in a little bit better condition, but isn't that funny? Wait, we made it. We were just joking about the radiator thing. Yeah, this is in my pocket. We found an A90 Supra in traffic. He tried to out-crackle me. You're literally sitting on the ground.
Yeah, literally the pavement, like, put it.
Oh yeah.
Higher S, yeah.
The ground's right there. This thing's so cool. This thing is epic. Ludwig's Garage. Is that your YouTube channel, Ludwig's Garage?
It's just my name, John Ludwig.
John Ludwig.
Yeah.
That's how mine's set up too.
Yeah,
Just my name.
yeah,
It's simpler.
exactly.
This thing's epic, man. I
Appreciate it, man.
really want to build something like
I've got
this.
a glove box door, you know. It's a, I don't know.
How do you open the door?
Pull up on the little.
Oh, that's cool. I love the old German door handles.
Well, I gotta show you the outside door handle, just the other side. This side's broke.
So it's a BMW 700.
Sport coupe,
700 Sport Coupe.
1960.
This is the kind of stuff I'm into. I'm just not experienced at all with it.
Yeah, it's on. The body lays out.
Right.
So this is how the old door handles work. So you press here and pull
Oh,
on the handle.
nice.
So this
I gotta
was
try that.
pre-Skyline. So
Wow.
if you use your right hand, you can do it all in one motion.
Ah, I
Yeah.
see. Oh, that is cool. This thing's so sick, dude. I'm blocking traffic, but it's okay. Ah, so cool. This car has the most insane detail work. Look at this. Everything is engraved. Control arms. But then you see this and you're like, oh, look, that's wood grain. But it's not. It's airbrushed. Insane. This is, I wonder how long it took to build this car. I mean, and everything had to be gold plated after you engraved it.
Yeah.
Wild.
I like working on cars and banging it out.
This thing's sick.
Yeah, I love
Oh
this car.
man, I should not have come here. Now I want all the new things. I want a bagged old BMW.
Don't
I
you
want
have a Monte Carlo?
Yeah, I can't do it to that one though.
Right.
It's too sentimental.
Yeah. This thing is like literally like just like the sofa seats and everything. Like,
Dude, it's comfy.
Oh yeah, that's a lot easier.
All right, action. That's so cool.
This is all reinforced. This is what Wes has to do to his car. It's all reinforced all the way through, 360 thing all the way through.
So what did the girls think?
I thought I was cool driving to high school.
I know about, like, a lot of people don't know about it until like they actually see it. They're actually pretty dope.
No shit.
All right, well, we got the Monte Carlo back in here. We are back from the turkey rod runs. Where's the F80's not in here? We had a blast. We took the F80. Unfortunately, couldn't take the truck, but we had a good time. It was like being back in high school again. Obviously, me, Raldo, and Josue, but we hang out all the time. But like, we would go do this kind of stuff in high school. But then also Elliot. Elliot's the guy who got me into drifting when I was 17. He was my mentor that like kept me from going down the wrong paths when it came to cars. You know, he's like, no, that's stupid. Don't do that. You know. So to have Elliot there, to have him in town, and Nate, you know, him and Nate were friends, and Nate became our friend too back then. Haven't seen Nate in years. And then Brandon came too. Dude, it was literally the whole squad. Brandon was welding seat brackets in my car to put a bucket seat in my 944 back in the day when he was like 14. He was like the kid prodigy welder, you know? When none of us knew how to weld, and this 14-year-old kid did. We met him through Johnny.
Somebody had to do it.
Right?
It
It was him. You know, he helped me JB weld my oil pan back together in my Porsche after I cracked it. And anyway, so it was nice. It was a great time. It was a very good throwback to hanging out with old friends, doing the stuff we used to do. So, jibber jabber, point is, it's back to this thing. We need to get this thing ready so we can enjoy it a little bit while the weather's nice. I also want my grandma to drive it, and she's probably not going to want to drive it when it's like a nitrous LS stick shift car. So I need her to, I want her to experience driving this thing as it was 22 years ago when she owned it and daily drove it. So that being said, the patch may have worked, but we just got a new radiator for it. Even though we are going to be putting an upgraded radiator in it when we do the LS, might as well make it work right now.
Please hold.
Just for the time being, we got some new hoses, we got a thermostat. We're basically going to replace the majority of the cooling system and then dive into figuring out why our torque converter is not locking up. Those two things from the drive are the two main things we need to sort out. So we dove into tearing the old radiator out of this thing. Now, I don't know if this thing's ever been out, so I'm a little concerned about things like these cooler lines and stuff. I had to hit them with some PB to hope that they came out, in one piece. But it is what it is. We've got to get this thing swapped out. So if they break, they break. We got to get this thing out of here. So we just dug right into tearing this thing out. Now, this is nice because it's a pretty easy car to work on. Pretty big engine bay, came with a V8. It's really not too bad. We're taking out pretty much everything in the cooling system, so piece by piece, let's get this thing torn apart. This is like my least favorite part about working on cars is, yeah, especially cooling because there's so much of it. Nice. Nipex Cobras, dude. I'm gonna link these because these things are the bee's knees. I have like 3 different sizes now and a pair. I have a pair in the trailer toolbox, a pair in my on-the-go tool bag, and a pair here. This is like probably the most do-it-all tool, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you've got this in your bag, you can do most anything with it. So after complaining about the mess and bragging about my Nipex Cobras, because they are the best pliers ever, not sponsored, pay full price for all these things, buy them on Amazon, but they really are the do-it-all plier. We got back to work. I tried to clean up some of the mess that we had made, and then Josue started blowing out some of the dirt before he popped open the rest of the cooling system. We've got to take the entire thermostat housing off to get to this thermostat. It's a little bit buried under there. These cars, while they're simple and easy to work on, there's a lot of smog stuff. I mean, there's so many lines and solenoids and vacuum lines and everything running every which way. And this thermostat housing was a little bit of a fight. One of the bolts seemed like it might want to snap on us, but luckily Josue was able to get it off and work on getting the gasket surface cleaned up. That is something that is super important. If you want to have no leaks, you gotta have clean gasket surfaces. It is absolutely critical. So we spent some time on that, and then we're pretty well ready to start putting this thing back together. All right, well, one of my fears of taking this radiator out and replacing it was these transmission cooler lines that have probably not been off since 1984 when they were installed. This one broke the line, so we've either got to try to get, yeah, we'll have to figure that out. We'll figure that out. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's get this radiator out first.
Ready?
Yep.
Oh, don't tilt it forward, though.
Take it. So once we had the old radiator out, that was kind of the last piece of the puzzle that needed to get removed. We could start putting all of the new stuff back in. This lower radiator hose, the clamp is right behind a bracket, so it is a little tricky to get to. You got to unbolt the bracket for the smog pump, which we don't really need anymore, but it's kind of a chore to take it all out and block it off, so it's just kind of in there inactive at the moment. But once we got that off and got the new one put on the lower, we could swap the new thermostat and thermostat housing in, get that set up and tightened down and sealed up, so then we could put the upper radiator hose in and get all of that squared away before we toss the radiator in. We've got a lot more room in here right now than we are going to have when we put the radiator in. So with those hoses on, we could drop the new radiator in place. It's always satisfying, even a stock replacement part like this, to put just fresh stuff in an engine bay that's had a lot of crusty stuff for a long time. You know, as much as we're not going to keep this radiator long term, we have a big aftermarket LS swap radiator for this thing. It is nice to fix it. Like I said, I really want to enjoy it for a bit. So really the last hurdle for us is these transmission cooler lines. We came up with a plan that we think should work and do the job. I mean, they're not super high pressure, so we basically got an adapter to barb fitting, and then we're going to run a hose. We tried to flare the hard line a bit, and hopefully it seals. Don't judge us on our fix here. Mind you, this is just short-term operations. This car's not even going to have an auto transmission here, so we won't even need this transmission cooler lines. They're all going to be gone, so chill.
It's temporary.
Chill. Oh, that looks beautiful. With that, once he gets that snugged up, put the fan shroud back on, and then we can put some coolant in it, fire it up. Kick the tires, light the fires. Oh, I forgot about that guy.
Chill.
I was trying to help, dude. I'm just trying to help. Chill. I think on the center console, no need to undo this battery terminal.
Here.
It's the little man handling. Oh, hold on, chill.
Steady.
Shh. Chill.
Don't get nervous. I'm not watching.
Alright, so this funnel allows this to be the highest point in the cooling system. So that way we can get all the air bubbles out. So we've got to run it until the thermostat opens. That'll probably suck in a ton of water. You kind of got to stay on top of it, because when it sucks that water in, you can suck a big air pocket in if you're not paying attention and ready to refill. But you can see all the bubbles coming out.
I did it.
Is it tight?
I It's hand tight.
That doesn't count.
And I started for you.
Finish it. Well, we have a fresh radiator in the car, some fresh hoses, a brand new thermostat. So we're gonna go take it for a drive and just see where we're at before we dive into trying to determine this torque converter lockup situation. There's a couple different things it could be. I really want to get all of this working. The weather is so nice right now. It is the perfect time to drive around a car that doesn't have AC. Now, we thought about trying to make the AC work, but we're going to change that whole setup anyway when we put the LS in it, so it's kind of pointless. Maybe we will if we get bored. But for right now, let's take it for a little cruise and just see what happens.
Never know when you need a rag.
It's like that second for sure. That second. Third. Okay. So third is 2440. This thing drives so nice though. I love these 80s cars, the way they drive. My only gripe is I sit really high.
That's that
Yeah.
cushy seat.
I can't imagine being taller than me and sitting in this car. Like, look at my headroom.
No helmet.
Yeah, oof, good point.
Cruiser.
Drives nice, it's peppy. This dude's got no plate.
Stubborn little guy.
I know, dude, that idle is pissing me off.
Oh.
Bring me a minute. This is my favorite feature. Oh no, shit.
No way. What a problem. Yep. Yeah.
Take two, this is one of my favorite features of this car. So you can put this down. I think if you put this.
I was gonna say, there's gotta be a
Someone
way to
mentioned
latch
that.
it.
Alright, let's not go completely full because we are going to put a fresh tank in this thing.
Sure.
I forgot about that. Put like 5 gallons in it.
Like 5 gallons gets us around for now.
You think 5? Yeah, you're right. 5's probably good. The less gas we got to pull out of this thing, the better.
Vote show.
Dang, right on the money, I guess.
First try. I just like round numbers.
I just fill. Like I fill it up anytime I stop. Unless it's like a car I just got, I'm so paranoid that if I fill it up, then it'll break.
True.
But once I trust it,
Bounce.
let's roll. Ashtray is now my wallet holder.
Using the features.
That's what I'm saying. It fires up first bump of the key, just the idle side. It drives so good.
It does.
Like, it rides nice.
It's smooth.
Very smooth. It's just gotta get it to idle right and go into converter lockup. Well, that's not it. Not the easy answer.
Well, cross that off the list.
Right? Dude, it's idling good now. Dang. Oh, if we can just figure out that converter lockup, we can stamp this seal on this thing, call it done and dusted for now. Enjoy it a little bit before we tear it apart and start putting LS in it and nitrous potentially and maybe a manual. We've got a pretty cool game plan for it, and the idea would be to kind of turn this into a drag and drive car and do hopefully a drag and drive next year with it. I really would like to do that. So keep it street, keep it something I can enjoy, but be able to drag race it some. We still want to build a full-on drag car, no prep car, but this is kind of us getting our feet wet. Same with the turbo truck. We still need to take it out. Anyway, let's pull this thing back in the shop and see if we can't figure out this torque converter thing. It's got to be something simple, you know? I feel like it's got to be.
Fingers crossed.
It's drivable without that locking up, but it's, you know, one, the transmission's going to get hot because it's just slipping all the time.
Yeah.
Granted, there's transmissions that don't have any lockup, you know, but two, it's like it'd just be better to cruise it like that. So. Pull it back.
Ready for a cruise.
So Josue and I both dove into diagnosing this issue. First, we got to get this thing up on the lift. It's important to make sure it goes up nice and level. Once we had it up there, we could look underneath, up top, and just try to determine where this is coming from. You know, I'm looking at the wiring under the dash. He's looking at the wiring going down to the transmission. There's got to be something simple, is our thought. Something could be unplugged. The car is sat for 22 years. So we tinkered with it. We found some potential problems, and then we took it back out for another drive, and unfortunately, it was not fixed. It's the same as before, no change. It's annoying because they're like, you know, it could be like we changed the solenoid, it fixes it. But it could be something way simpler or some sort of wiring issue. So you're like, I don't want to just throw parts at it.
Yeah, and it shifts smooth. Like, it's just, like, I can't even tell if it's shifty or not.
80s cars are like that breed between like mechanical and electrical. And it's just like, it's not ideal. And that's why a lot of these cars you see people put a turbo, a 350 small block Chevy with an Edelbrock Holly carburetor and a turbo 350 in it, manual valve body with a ratchet shifter.
That's it.
So after another unsuccessful test drive, we brought the car back in the shop, put it back on the lift. We verified which transmission we had. We decided to see what the rear end gear was that was in it, because it just seems awfully short, but just trying to kind of cover our bases and figure out what we've got going on with this thing. There is a little bit of mystery behind it. Even though it's been in my family a long time, the technical details don't really know. So we found some more potential problems, and one of the things we thought it might be is the coolant temperature sensor going to the ECU. We can't tell whether or not that's reading. So I put a resistor in there. It didn't seem to help. So we're going to go see if we can find the right sensor to put in this thing, swap that out. Just covering all our bases, all the potential simple problem areas. Oh. I'm learning, dude. I'm learning. It's been a while. My first few cars are all 80s cars, and I've forgotten what it's like. All right, they don't have the ECU sensor, but took my resistor out and it does plug in, so it's worth trying. I don't know if the threads are the same, but even if we just like set it against the head and it gets a close temperature, maybe it'll fix our problem. So yeah, we'll get this and we'll get the gauge one. Are we in high school again, dude? I got parts store parts, we got Mexican Cokes, and we got some dang black ice air fresheners. I mean, we got this thing running pretty good, aside from the converter not locking up. So we dug in yet again. We swapped the temperature sensor out. We dug into a few other areas, and we're gonna go give this another shot. Hopefully this time's the charm. We found a massive vacuum leak and some other things. Fingers crossed. Don't touch my black ice, dude. I used to love the black ice air fresheners. Definitely throw me back to high school. I used to take my red 944 to the car wash. I would get a black ice when I left out of like the little vending machine. So it's like that smell. I was really hopeful on that one.
It's like we keep finding problems, but it doesn't seem to be it.
Yeah. Take this thing up to the dragon, dude. I mean, bright side, things cruising real nice.
Better than ever?
Yeah. Like, we could honestly swap this thing and not have to, like, not touch the suspension, you know, if we wanted to.
Right.
We're going to. So we could get away with it. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. Well, unfortunately, that did not fix our problem. We tried and we tried and we tried yet again. But this thing's idling mint now. It's idling just like it should, like you would expect it to. So that's good. It drives nice. All the other systems seem to be good and happy. We need to change the gauge cluster temp sensor because we don't know what the temperature is of the engine, but it feels peppy. You know, we get on it, there's no hesitation, there's no hiccups, there's no nothing. It just, it goes for a little 305, man. This thing's got some pep in its step, I gotta tell you. But yeah, so that's all good. Everything else seems to work. Like the lights work, the transmission shifts good. It's just that converter lockup.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, like it's a car I'm happy to daily around and take to the store. Like it's what I hoped it would be in that sense. Like my turbo truck, where you just like kind of hop in and go. Like a good, I don't know how to describe it compared to some cars. It's good. Now we got to decide for sure what we want to do with it long term, because like, I want to do a nitrous LS. I think either way, nitrous just to keep from having to hack stuff up on the car, keep it more original. But I was wanting to do stick shifts since like when I was a kid. I wanted to get this car one day, this exact car, and my dream was to do a NASCAR engine stick shift. NASCAR engine's kind of silly for what I'm trying to do with it, and I have the stuff to do a nice LS and have AC and all that. But the question is stick shift, because I think I can hook a 408E up to the stock center console shifter, which is nice. And then, you know, it's nice to have an auto car, but we have the turbo truck. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you would do. Vote for, do we do stick shift and then get to do some stick shift drag racing, since we're going to be doing some non-stick shift drag racing with the truck and a no prep car? Or do we make this one auto so it's like just a absolutely killer cruise around town rig? Not that it would be terrible with a manual either. I'm sure it would be fine with a manual. I drive my manual car the most out of my two dailies, you know. But, you know, it just changes the dynamic. You can't just like get in, put it in drive, and one hand Willy whip the thing in and out of parking lots, you know. So I don't know. But hey, we're close. It's running, it's driving. I think it's at the point where my grandma can drive it. That'll be the plan next. I want her to drive it. Hopefully she's feeling better. She said when I went and dropped the Thanksgiving food off for her that she was feeling better, which is good. That's why I didn't see her for Thanksgiving. So, jibber jabber. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. But I do want to say thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And then I sure hope I'll get to see you next time. Good night. Goodbye. Good night. Either one. Whichever you pick.